Boy, these 1 or 2 point races are really tough, aren't they? I want to, first of all, thank all the people that I have met across this state, traveling across the state so much. I've traveled across the state 120,000 miles just in the past 16 months and have met, that's 4.8 times around the world, by the way. And I've met some incredible people. I've been blessed with creating friendships that will last for a lifetime. I just called Jack and I congratulated him on a very tough, well-fought campaign. I think he'll make a great candidate for the fall. From the very beginning, we made this about people versus money. If we don't change the culture in Washington that's become about the chase of money, we're not going to change the future of our country. And the future of our country is going in the wrong direction today. It's got to become about people again. And I understand that. My father came to this country when he was 12 years old with nothing in his pocket. He's 84 years old today, and he still works every day. He married my mother when she was 17, and an older brother, Dominic, died when he was a month old in eastern Kentucky because of lack of adequate health care. I've never known a day in my life when I wasn't going to become a doctor. I wrote an essay when I was in the 4th grade about being a doctor. I would never have dreamt that I would be a 3-term state senator, a lieutenant governor, and having run for U.S. Senate twice now. If I had told someone that when I was in the 4th grade, they would have run me out of Perry County. A kid with a funny last name with such big dreams to even think about becoming a doctor and then going back home to the mountains of eastern Kentucky and being the chief of staff of a hospital that we expanded from 24 physicians to well over 200 and creating landmark legislation in information technology. They would have said that was pie in the sky. They would have laughed. Just like they laughed when I first became a state senator and talked about Kentucky leading the nation in information technology and healthcare, e-health. They called it pie in the sky. They don't call it pie in the sky today. When I see Kentucky as the best state in the country, that we could lead our nation in energy independence, where we can use what's ours and create jobs in this state, when we can show the rest of the country how to fix health care. The 2 major problems facing our country today, health care and energy. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got to become real about energy. We import 70% of our oil from foreign countries, countries that don't like us. We can decrease our dependence on foreign oil, increase our national security, and create jobs here, and it's even better for the environment. Now, why do people think that Kentucky can't lead? You know, is that pie in the sky? You know, coming from a kid with a funny last name from eastern Kentucky who should have never been a doctor, never been a state senator, never been a lieutenant governor, but for education, I don't care what you call it. I live in the best state, and I don't care how big our dreams are. We should continue to dream. Any of us who don't believe that we can go not from 45th to 44th and be happy with it in all the different categories, any of us who don't believe that we live in the best state, you need to move. I will continue to do what I can to improve my community, as I hope all of us can. That's the least we can do for the veterans who have given so much for our country, who to do everything in our power to make sure that this country is better, because that's what they died for, that's what they suffered for, and that's what we should pass on to our children. I don't know what's ahead for me, but I tell you what, I believe in divine providence. 6 years ago, we were all upset that we didn't win. We came within 1.4 points. But I would not trade winning 6 years ago for having met my wife, Allison. and now my daughter Catherine, for anything in the world, that victory or anything else. What we must do going forward, what we all must do going forward, is we must demand that Washington works for us again. You know, we took them all on. Who was on our side? It was Jack Brewer in Harlan County. It was Kathy Jo Stubblefield in Callaway County. It was Amy Wolfick in Northern Kentucky. The names that none of you recognize. None of you recognize. We took on the other side, the names that you do recognize. We took on the establishment. We took on Washington. We took on the National Party. We took on the Courier-Journal and the Herald Leader. We took them all on. And look how close we got because we believed. Somebody's going to rise up in this country and change the course. Somebody must rise up in this country and make it about us again, about the names that none of us recognize, but all of us together, that's who we are as a country. The funny last names from Eastern Kentucky, the funny last names from Western Kentucky, the funny names all across this state and all across this country, that's who we are. And if we don't change the culture about chasing the money, and it's all about money, it is all about money in politics today. If we don't change that culture, ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to have a bright future as a Kentuckian or as a country. We must demand, we must absolutely demand a voice in the halls of power for all of us, like Joe Bowen. Joe Bowen is one of those guys that you don't recognize his name. He's traveled across the country on a bicycle twice, 14,000 miles. Joe Bowen rode his bicycle 1,400 miles across this state campaigning for me. That's who I got up for and fought as hard as I could every day to give us the victory to change the direction of this country. The Joe Bowens and the people that sent in $3 and $4 and $2.50 in contributions because they thought that was what it took for us to get a little bit closer. Mark and his family in Louisville, and I can go on and on and on down the list of people that no one would ever recognize against the names that we all recognize. I don't know what's in store for us, but I certainly hope and pray for the future of our state, for the future of our country, that someone out there stands up, and more of us, without a name, stands up behind that person so that we can have a better future for our state and a better future for our country. I can't tell you from the bottom of my heart all of those that worked so hard, all the volunteers that worked so hard, the 1,000+ across this state that meant so much to me, the friendships that I've developed that will endure for a lifetime. We'll never lose those friendships from Eastern Kentucky to Western Kentucky. Thank you all, and God bless you. This is really what it's all about. This is what's about.
You're still number one, though.